And there goes the tennis racket.
My Lord, sweet Jesus. Yes, you did. Froze again. Look at that. Frozen in the game. I can't do nothing.
2005 to 2006 shopping season. What a very dark era for gaming. Like putting a Wii remote through your goddamn TV. The 3 grains of death on every frickin' 360. Well, most of them. Or even worse, the yellow light of death. Defective RSX chips. Recently I ran a poll and it seems you all want me to talk about the PlayStation 3 first in a series of retrospectives of this generation. Following the PlayStation 2 from 2000, the PlayStation 3 came out in 2006 with a price tag of about $600. Sony had to redesign the console twice in order to combat production costs and defect ratios. At the time of its launch, Blu-ray was brand spanking new. In 2009, Sony rebranded the PlayStation 3, dropping the Spider-Man font and modifying the PS3 logo after the former PS2 logo. 2 weeks ago, I picked up 3 CECHL FAT models in various states of disrepair. One had yellow light of death, one had a completely destroyed shell, and one had a dead Blu-ray drive. I had been looking for a FAT model for the intent of installing CFW, and I happened to score a deal on 3 defective FATs. At least I was able to get 2 of them running. The yellow light of death, I don't know how to wire Syscon, and if it's a dead RSX, well, it's pretty much screwed. So I shell swapped it with the destroyed shell console and donated its Blu-ray drive to the one you see right now on the screen, because the Blu-ray drive in that console was screwing with the motherboard, making the system freak the fuck out. Now I wish I snapped a video of the yellow light of death console because it was clean as shit. Now initially the PlayStation 3 had full PlayStation 2 compatibility. You can find the Emotion Engine chip inside the CECHA and CECHB models. They also had an SD card slot and a compact flash slot, except for the B model, because the B model was a budget version. But because of the effects, expect to pay a pretty arm and a leg to get one that's still working or to have one fixed. Somewhere around $500. The first 2 were quickly replaced with the C model, which only contained the graphic synthesizer and removed the Emotion Engine. Okay, I'm getting off track here. I could spend all frickin' day talking about the model comparisons of all the FATs. The one thing I still fondly remember to an extent, and also annoyed, is all those damn Dear PlayStation commercials.
Dear PlayStation, my grandma won't stop watching Blu-ray movies on my PS3.
Look, for $299, you don't just get a sweet gaming machine. It's like you get the best Blu-ray player around built in for free.
Dear PlayStation, we just finished Little Big Planet 2, and I just...
No, you didn't.
Huh?
You don't finish Little Big Planet 2. You may think your Sackboy's adventure is over, but every day thousands of new racing, action, and sports games are loaded onto the PlayStation Network that are better than bacon-wrapped cupcakes.
Dear PlayStation, I've been playing Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, but my girlfriend won't stop watching because she thinks it's a movie.
This is pretty common, Jason. I mean, just look at this game.
You know, you got Nathan Drake's epic gunfights.
Impossible escape scenes and a plotline filled with betrayal. Give her an hour or so, she'll know it's a video game.
It's been 2 days.
Ready, honey?
Some of those commercials aged as well as Britney Spears. Not to get off track again, but at least Spears' career aged way better than Miranda Lambert. The PlayStation 3 was a major upgrade from the PlayStation 2. Sony was trying to push it as an all-in-one multimedia machine. Even PSN, that launched on the PSP, was coming over to the PlayStation 3.
Video chat, voice messaging, text messaging, and many more. Our goal is to create an...
Aside from a slow start in hardware sales, many developers found it rather difficult to work with the PlayStation 3. One component found on the system that developers had a hard time with in particular was the cell processor. The cell processor architecture was completely different than a traditional CPU. That meant programmers had to learn new coding techniques and learn new tools in order to optimize their code for the cell processor. It all boils down that the PlayStation 3 runs on a system that is completely different from the Xbox 360 and regular PCs. Its processing architecture is completely unique. The Xbox 360 had one single 512 megabyte memory module. The PlayStation 3 had two 256 megabyte modules. One module was dedicated to the system process, the other module was dedicated to the graphics process. On 360, developers could choose how much of the system resources they could allocate to graphics and processing. On PS3, they were always limited to 256 for either of the processes. If your graphics process needed more than 256 megabytes of RAM, you were shit out of luck. Sony would later play it safe with the PlayStation 4 and use an x86 architecture. On an interesting note, the United States Air Force took 1,700 consoles and connected them together to build one giant supercomputer. Despite the rather rough start, the PlayStation 3 would go on to ship 87.4 million units, and would be discontinued between 2015 to 2017.
The stages of the game will also be based on